So far, I've entertained about 5 pieces in total from METALITE, about to honor a 6th in presence, and I've loved the introduction I've been getting to their pieces. Again, I love, in regards to the way I cover music on this channel, fresh experiences, especially in regards to consulting new work. And that's what this channel in part is built around, especially when it comes to music. I'm very happy that my ambition of bringing music coverage into a more dominant role here has been so well exercised and effective in the 2022 season, and as I expand in 2023 on that vision, it's been a great treat to again introduce talents, perhaps not only to myself, but to maybe you as well, that perhaps their names are familiar to you, but it's still, they're talented all the same, and that's a respect that I've given many groups I've covered in terms of first basis, including METALITE, who, like many, is an ever-European talent. And some of you who follow my music coverage, you know just how much I love this group, especially when well, not just the group, but the European metal scene. It is an easy hotbed to access talented, visionary artists, and I've been very pleased at what I've heard thus far. And METALITE, by the same respect, has been very entertaining. I've loved their work. I'm a big rock guy, so that obviously appeals to me, and the electronic foundation to their tracks I find quite interesting, especially in conjunction to other European talents, specifically in the Swedish area where they're based. Like, let's say, for example, and I've made mention of this in the past, Fall of a Cypher, Dead by April, Anima Veil, all of them have an electronic emphasis to their work in part, to varying degrees, but I've really liked what I've heard thus far from METALITE's energy, and it is kind of consistent. I do wonder, again, if that's a popular trait among Swedish music, that in the metal scene that you have that electronic bass line. But I've been pleased at what I've heard thus far from 5 tracks. I'm making my way through a good selection of their work, and we now come to We Bring You the Stars, the second of 3 singles that I'm looking at apart from major album releases. And so at this one I covered the Full Moon a piece that was based on an original Sonata Arctica work, and that one was great. It provides, I think, a great segue into consulting We Bring You the Stars, which I don't know how much attention this track got, at least on YouTube, but I've heard some regard for it. I believe it in terms of the group. Maybe this is a first exposure for you. If so, I think you're going to come to really like this group if you're into like electronic metal or something more experimental or in the rock landscape. Erica Olsen is a beautiful talent in terms of her vocal range, and that, of course, is a signature aspect of METALITE. She's an extremely gifted artist who, I've said before, Mortemia, a Norwegian one-man gothic symphonic metal artist. If you're not familiar with him, I would highly recommend it if you haven't consulted his work before. It was through the collaboration on Lost Horizon with Erica Olsen that introduced me to the name METALITE, and I'm grateful for him in that acknowledgement, because METALITE has been an absolute pleasure to cover on this channel and introduce perhaps to new listeners, maybe even like myself at one point, but maybe perhaps you're coming to this video not knowing who this band is, and you've never heard the name METALITE before. I hope this is as surreal of an experience and elation as it has been for me. I'm going to go ahead and cue up We Bring You the Stars, and we're going to gauge this track together for a first listen. There's a video to complement, so of course we got a visualizer. I'm going to cue up in conjunction of a song, and if you're somebody who likes to experience reading the piece as you proceed for a track, listen. I try and accommodate listener tastes who are not used to the format of my videos, and this may be a first introduction to you for my work. I do provide the lyrics for you in context to the video. You'll see it on the screen, and they'll track along with the piece as we proceed through it. Without further ado, again, I try to give everybody ease of access, and rather than just giving you an accessory, I have in the past, like in my earlier days, but I wanted to elevate it, being like, hey, there's a better way to go around this. So for me, I'd like to be able to provide you every accommodation that I can to better suit perhaps your preferences. So the lyrics will be available to you again as we proceed through the song. We Bring You the Stars. I'm going to cue it up. Here we go. 6th track in. I'm having a great time. Emotion of darkness from a previous time. Strong opener. Her vocals on principal focus. I like these breaks. Nice pauses, well placed. Interesting constrained video. You can kind of see it. It's just got this nice, interesting border. Great energy, good tone, lively piece, highly enjoyable. I love these live videos, by the way. Live videos didn't always do it for me, but it's nice to get a personality through the video. It feels like you're it adds a dimension of appreciability on part of the listener. Love the excited pace. It really is very engaging. Great mapping, succinct sound, great vision. Bit of a wind down, well placed break. I'm wondering if there's going to be an instrumental pause here. Let's see. Oh no, we're just kicking right back in. Key change, okay. And so far, what I've heard of METALITE, that's working for me. I don't always have a takeaway, but I've liked what I've heard thus far in the use of key changes here. Good feed out of the track. It's a nice summary. Like I said, signature range. I love listening to her. Again, as I've said many times, my introduction from Mortimer to Erica Olsen, it was just beautiful. And again, that's what sparked it in me. Like, I gotta hear This Woman in Never Ventures. And it's been a great treat listening to her with a powerful vocal set. I mean, again, Erica Olsen, their signature, talents you come across in different artists across the board, maybe across the world even, right? I could certainly think of names that I would bring up from other countries who have been absolutely talented in their craft, many of which I've spotlighted on this channel in regards to, let's say, female vocalists specifically. But in Europe, it's been a universal thing. Like, everyone I've hit on in regard to first exposures, I absolutely adore their voices, and they're always such signature presences that I can identify them immediately. Granted, how much time I've listened to their works, maybe a bit more, than bit in excess, but you listen to a voice like Erica Olsen and it's transfixing. It's quality, especially for me, if you're somebody, in my situation where you crave good talent, especially in the music scene and in the metal world. And Erica Olsen truly is just a dynamic force, I would say, in listening to her. I love entertaining her presence. Great track, good construction. It does flow in the vein of METALITE's work quite well. I have to say, like I've said many times, I'm not always the highest, I don't have the highest regard for last measure key changes. It depends on the song. It depends perhaps on the electronic emphasis and the style. It's a transition here that I feel works for me. And I've said that in respect to many tunes in METALITE's roster. Because by comparison, I've come across groups where perhaps you're left in wanting with the emphasis on that change, and it's like, but I like the way it started in terms of the key you picked and the atmosphere, so maybe the change come across as a bit disruptive. But sometimes, it works, and it has to have an even transition. It has to be enough of a segue that it feels consistent with the energy of the song, and it has to feel like it's structurally mapped and intentional. I feel that with this tune, and they've done it a lot over what I've consulted in regards to their works. And the electronic emphasis is quite exquisite, in my opinion. I've been very impressed with what I've heard thus far, which, again, when it comes to electronic music, I'm very selective in my tastes. EDM, I'm not always the biggest guy, and I put that akin to what's available like in the music space, with some exception, like very, very minor. For me, electronic involvement in music has to have some sort of other background element serving as a foundation, and the electronic side serves more as an integrated complement versus maybe the basis. And on sound as well, it can't be too erratic. There has to be a consistency, and it has to jive well with the piece. Every tune I've heard thus far from METALITE has fit that type of ruling of what I've given. Like, for example, by comparison, I'd say if you're going to go clubbing or something, you hear like a DJ just stringing random noises. It's like, I don't like that type of disruptive atmosphere. It has to have some sort of image and cohesion and feel, like some substance behind it, and I sense that with METALITE quite well. So they do fit in my seem to be growing list of exceptions. Fabulous presence to their work. I've enjoyed listening to them thus far with 6 pieces. About to entertain the 7th and the last of at least the 3 singles before we pave our way into A Virtual World, the most recent of their albums. I've loved getting this introduction. I've loved being able to share the experience of you in regards to forming an opinion based on informed experiences that are right at your fingertips, I've loved being able to share that emotion with you. And hopefully, you've had the same feeling coming on to METALITE's work, and I hope for some of you this has been an introductory video to their talents. But maybe for some of you, you're established in your familiarity with the artist. I'd love to hear perhaps your perspective down below on the piece as well. I mean, like I said, I think it's a good key choice. It's got a good flow, very consistent, its energy. I think it's quite an exquisite piece, and it does have that METALITE feeling that I've become very accustomed to in past listens. But also for some of you, like I said, this may be a first impression. I would also love to hear perhaps your perspective on the piece down below, should you wish to disclose it. I'm really excited going forward for more METALITE. I can't wait to hear this track on a repeat listen as well as their albums in full, given that I've done a rare thing and purchased their albums outright on faith because I truly was moved by that collaboration of Mortemia with Erica Olsen's vocal talents. Like, I've got a good feeling, and I've been satisfied so far, including with We Bring You the Stars. It's a good piece. Really good, in fact. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.